Hello and welcome, Must Players. I'm Mark Santo'S, and this is your weekly dose of all things gaming, tech, film, entertainment, frankly, anything we want to talk about. Sitting to my left is a man who is probably happier than he's been all year, even though he's had the birth of his second child this year, because a new Star Wars TV series has been announced. Julian Price.
Well, we knew it was coming, but
we
got a bit more detail, and I'm pretty excited.
And next to him, Ryan Mason in a carked hat. Are you feeling that way, Maso?
Little bit.
Little bit? All right. Well, it's such a big week. We're going to bring those energy levels up because, I mean, we always say it's been a big week for us, but my God, fitting this much into our 25-minute show is going to be a struggle, Jules.
We'll do it.
We'll do it?
We can definitely do it.
What are some of the big topics we'll get to a bit later?
Well, for one, for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, there's so many games coming out this month, and I think we should rattle them off and go through what we're going to be getting and what we're not going to be getting.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of those big games, Meso, we're seeing maybe one of them delve into what the future of gaming could be.
It seems to be the future, yeah. Google, the new Google Project Stream, it's called, and they're testing it on the new Assassin's Creed, which is essentially going to be Netflix or Spotify for gaming.
Which could revolutionise the way we play games. We'll delve into that a little bit later. But first, the headlines, and we are starting with the big news from today. As we record, we have just got new information on what this Star Wars TV series is going to look like under the ears of the big Mickey Mouse. It's going to be called The Mandalorian.
As far as we know.
This is details shared by Jon Favreau, who is famously a big part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Of course, he directed Iron Man. He also acts in the Iron Man franchise as Happy. He is going to be the man leading this charge of around about 8 to 10 episodes. We don't know yet, Jules. I mean, I'll run through the details that he posted in a sec, but your gut reaction, are you excited about this TV series and what he could potentially bring?
It's more than I could have asked for. Like we do
already.
Jedi.
That's a lot of confidence. This
I know. I think everyone was kind of secretly hoping for a Star Wars story based around Boba Fett or something like that. So I feel like this is them making up for that. This is Mandalorians. I mean, that's not necessarily Boba Fett, but Boba Fett was Mandalorian.
Yes.
And this is the name of the show.
Well, I should probably set the scene. So it's going to be called The Mandalorian, and this is the detail we've got from Jon Favreau on Instagram. He has posted in that classic Star Wars yellow that after the stories of Jango and Boba Fett, another warrior emerges in the Star Wars universe. The Mandalorian is set after the fall of the Empire and before the emergence of the First Order. We follow the travails, which is a word I did not know before today, of a lone gunfighter in the outer reaches of the galaxy, far from the authority of the New Republic. It's pretty broad. Doesn't really say a lot.
I like the sound of it, though.
It does sound awesome.
I'm a bit over the Jedi. I would want to see this, without
it sounds like
it's set, on Jedi.
It's set in between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anything could happen. We might even see... new Jedi that Luke was training, or
potentially. Look, that is all part of it. I mean, Mesa, I don't know if you've seen every single one of the recent Star Wars films that's come out, but there were
I've seen them.
There was a lot of debate as to whether or not The Last Jedi was something we should be happy or upset about. And same goes for the Han Solo movie, which despite they doing everything, pulling out all the stops to try and salvage that movie with a new director in Ron Howard, there were still a lot of people that thought that movie was pretty so-so. A nice middle of the road 3 stars.
Yeah.
Jules would disagree, but
I didn't mind Solo. I thought it was alright.
Yeah, look, I thought it was alright as well. But look, do you think do you take a lot of confidence into this? Are you excited?
Because like the TV stuff they've done with Clone Wars and stuff like that, they're all really good. They're high quality and they're really well written.
Well, the director of Clone Wars and Rebels, Dave Filoni, he is also rumoured to be directing some of these episodes of the live-action series. So Jon Favreau only posted the other day on Facebook a photo of him and Dave together at the ranch. I don't know what that is.
That's
George Lucas' house.
That didn't look like it, though.
All right. Well, you pick out the little details. The ranch is commonly known as George Lucas' house.
He's renoed a bit.
It looked pink.
Okay. It's going to have a huge budget.
Elvis Presley's house.
It's going to have a huge budget, around $100 million apparently for around 10 episodes. We don't know what shape they're really going to take at this point in time, but we can probably safely assume it's going to land on Disney's streaming service when that launches sometime next year. look out for that. It is called The Mandalorian. Off Star Wars to another fantastical world, this time Harry Potter. There's been a huge leak this week.
Yeah, mega leak.
One that we weren't expecting and one that probably came months before we were expecting to, unless they were looking to announce it potentially at the Game Awards in December. But we got a glimpse of what is purporting to be a brand new RPG, AAA scale game in the Harry Potter universe set about 100 years before the events of Harry Potter, all through what seemingly was just one bloke going in, asked at a mall, hey, what do you think of this new game as part of some market research? And he's filmed it on his phone. They didn't check him for his phone. He claims that he didn't, sign a non-disclosure agreement. And all of a sudden, we've got about a minute of footage, which we're not going to post here because we don't want our podcast to be taken down. But it looks great. I mean, from very early stuff.
It looks like it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks finished. Yeah.
But we haven't seen anything about it. We didn't even know it was in development. I don't even think.
Well, there was
sort of rumors about a new Harry Potter game coming out, but that's it.
The studio Avalanche, which is rumored to be working on this, they had some job postings a few years ago, if not over 12 months ago at the very least, asking for people that had some British experience or experience with the British culture to be part of their team while they were making this. So clearly they're trying to duly replicate the Hogwarts universe in the UK. Look, I'm excited for it. I know we haven't seen a lot, but I was a big fan of this little one here, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets on the old Xbox. Had to blow the dust off that one to find it.
Look at Harry there.
How young does he look? Yeah. It's fantastic. A youthful Harry. In fact, I reckon that was the first ever game that I played that required the second thumbstick. So that is the entire reason why I play inverted. Because when that came out, the first section that you needed is a flying section on your broom, and it was set up like a pilot would be. So you pull back on the control stick to go up. And I've played that way ever since. Anyway, I'm excited. Let us know what you think. If you've seen the vision, we will include a link to it in the description below. But as I said, we don't want to show the footage right now, just in case Warner Brothers wants to take it down, as they have been doing. But very exciting there if you're a Harry Potter fan. Next, into the realm of tech. Now, I know that you guys aren't like me. You don't have a fancy Surface sitting in front of you, although Jules does have a Windows gaming laptop. But Microsoft has unveiled its next generation of Surface computers. It's going to be the Surface Pro 6, the Surface Laptop 2, also the Surface Studio 2, and Surface headphones have surfaced, for lack of a better word. It's going to be Microsoft's first foray into noise-cancelling headphones. So apparently the new Surface Pro is going to be around 67% more powerful than the previous model, which is what I have right here. Good stuff, Maso. Are you just playing a video as we're in the middle of
it's
our
an ad.
It's an ad.
It's an ad. How dare you? All right, well, look.
Conveniently, it's for Forza.
Okay, something that we bagged Forza last week, or we haven't been excited about Forza, and it's getting excellent reviews.
I can't get excited about it because I can't play it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
Oh,
Yeah, on your laptop.
That's true.
Come on, mate.
No,
You can
sorry.
do it. Look, we just wanted
I'm
to
still
touch...
new. I'm new to PC.
We wanted to touch onto that because that is obviously big tech news. We know Microsoft is a big mover and shaker. It seems really like it's more of a power upgrade to everything rather than a big revolution in terms of design. But it is good to know that they're pushing forward with the Surface brand, which I really, really do enjoy.
And it seems this is the way it's going. All these Surface laptops, everyone seems to be getting one these days.
So convenient.
Yeah,
it's excellent for me at work and relatively cheap as well, given that you get the flexibility of the tablet with a bit of grunt.
Do you use it without the keyboard?
All the time.
Okay.
Mainly when I've got it resting on my bedside table so I can watch a movie and not have it that extra 20 centimetres away from me. Don't worry about my TV because I need a touch screen at all. Anyway, we'll continue in the realm of tech and LG, a company which we don't really think about too much when it comes to phones because it's
fridges and washing machines.
Yeah.
And
I mean, really, it's sort of iPhone or Samsung, I suppose, the two heavy hitters.
here it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Huawei, whatever it's called.
Huawei. Look, there are some other big players. I'm never going to be able to unhear that. Of course, we got LG. We know we got Nokia still around. But LG has unveiled its new phone. I believe it's called the V420 or something along the lines of that. And the reason we wanted to touch on it is because it's got 5 cameras. 5! That is staggering. I know that, the iPhone's been adding more to try to get cool 3D or depth of field.
Got 2 on the back, yeah.
Yes, but this one not only has 3 on the back, adding essentially a telescopic lens or a wide-angle lens, but it also has 2 on the front, which allows you to take clearer selfies, I suppose. Or
it's
better.
just the depth. Yeah, it gives you depth.
Well, you're our cameraman. Does this excite you, Maso?
Well, not on the phone. Not really.
I did like some of the examples they were putting up. How one of them was this guy taking a selfie in a mirror essentially, but it was a video of his reflection moving and making faces and not in the foreground. So
Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, look, LG's got a new phone out. It looks... I mean, how much is too much? That's the question that I wanted to ask.
It just gives you endless, filters. That
Is
you
it
can use.
$2.5
More
grand?
cameras on it.
No, it's not as expensive as the new iPhone. It comes out October 18, from what I understand, or at least that's overseas. But I haven't got a price point on it just yet. I'll try to look that up as we discuss the next thing, because as part of this flagship unveiling, LG also showed off its new smartwatch. And for anyone that's ever thought a smartwatch just looked a little bit too tech, Maso and I both love our just regular old watches. I think Jules is
Apple Watch. There it is.
Jules is
I'm
on the iPhone, the Apple.
and I got
Watch
all my
bandwagon.
goals today.
Did you?
Yeah, I got all the rings.
Did all the steps that
Yeah.
you needed to?
Yeah.
Well, good on you, mate. Look, they've unveiled a smartwatch analog watch hybrid. So not only does it have all the tech that you would expect in a smartwatch, but it's also got the actual hands on it from an analog
I like
clock.
that. I think that's
Yeah, I
cool.
think it looks
I
good.
like it
yeah, I
too.
like it. Yeah, I like it.
Look, I know it's not necessarily groundbreaking, but I think it would be fantastic just to have that, because I would imagine it saves battery if you don't have to constantly
Yeah.
be turning
Yeah.
on the screen as well. And I
Yeah.
think they only last about 2 days. How long does yours last battery-wise, Jules?
Oh, 2 day on a good day.
2 days on a
two
good day.
days on a good. That doesn't make sense.
Well, hopefully, you never know. They might that might really help them, and I think it's a great step forward in the realm of smartwatches. I'm actually kind of excited. Might pick one up. Into the realm of Netflix and I suppose film in general, we've had a couple of big trailers drop this week, but some even bigger news. It's that Netflix has signed a deal with C.S. Lewis, of course, the writer behind the Chronicles of Narnia series, to bring new movies, new TV shows to that platform, which is huge news because it's the first time ever that a company has owned, not C.S. Lewis, has owned the rights to every single book that he's written. So that's the reason why a lot of the movies were delayed and we only got 3 or 4 of them actually on the big
I
screen.
honestly never really got into the. I mean, maybe the first one that came out.
They're probably a bit.
I didn't read the
young for
books.
us.
I loved them. I read all of the Chronicles of Narnia books, and I've seen, I think, 3, if there's a 4th movie, I missed out on 1.
I think there's only 3.
Either way, I'm actually quite excited about this. I know it's nothing
I'd probably watch the
groundbreaking, but
series.
anything on Netflix will get my attention.
Well, that means now we're going to have more Game of Thrones, Witcher, Narnia, all on Netflix.
They're leaning into the fantasy
Aren't they?
realm.
Yeah.
Sort of the same thing happened after Lord of the Rings hit really big. I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah,
Game
yeah.
of Thrones has hit big, and I still remember all those movies coming out like Troy afterwards, which were trying to capitalize on
Yeah.
that everyone loves this sort of ancient, fantastical world.
Netflix is going to be busy.
Yeah. I don't know how much money they're spending, but anyway. We
Well,
also
they've
have
got
we also have a new trailer for Spider-Man Into the Spideyverse. This is an animated movie coming out towards the end of the year, which I know you were looking forward to, Jules. And
I think it looks really cool.
we knew that there were going to be heaps of different Spider-Men in there, so it's sort of universe crossing. But this new trailer gives us a bit of insight into how that happens.
It looks like there's a spider pig.
Yes. I don't know
What?
what's going on with
The
that.
Simpsons movie?
No.
Simpsons reference? I don't know. He looks like he's a prominent character in the movie.
Yeah, Homer's not holding this pig up onto the ceiling and making him walk. It's just what looks like Porky Pig in a Spider-Man outfit.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
It's happening, but I think it looks really cool. It's got that humor about it, and it seems as though there's nods to recent Spider-Man as well. Not only the game that was just brought out on PlayStation 4, but Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
yeah.
There was a few shots in there, Jules.
Yeah, just like him. There's that scene in Spider-Man 2 where he stops the train at the front. He's like, "Brrr." I'm not going to do it.
You needed to go wider. Like Jesus.
No, my muscles
Knock us
aren't
out.
big enough, unfortunately. The upside down Spider-Man kiss with
Yep.
MJ.
Oh, with MJ, yeah.
That's him.
Kirsten
Those
Dunst.
things are all popping up in the trailer, so I guess there's nods everywhere. I wonder if it's going to be that Spider-Man. Because it's a multiverse.
Yeah,
Could
look, I
be
don't
all
think
of them, yeah.
I don't know if Tobey Maguire specifically is coming back, but it seems like Miles Morales is the centerpiece of this, which I'm actually quite excited about because I think even though he's very, very prominent in the comics, we haven't really seen that filter in as him actually as Spider-Man. You know, we only got a hint of it.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, in the PlayStation 4 game. So look, I think that'll be really cool. And just to segue into some other Spider-Man news, sort of, the new Venom movie is out right now, and this is something that I thought the trailers looked kind of cool, but for months I've been saying, I don't know how you have a Venom movie without Spider-Man in it, or at least a hero to sort of combat him.
Yeah. Well, they're
And-
going to do the same thing with Joker.
Yeah.
Without Batman.
Yeah, I know.
We won't. Yeah.
If ever there's a bad sign for DC and to maybe say, hey, why don't you rework your script? This would be it, because we haven't seen it yet, but the early reviews are in. I think it's below 30% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
23%.
Yeah, it's getting panned.
Which is quite ordinary and disappointing, because I love Tom Hardy and I think he
probably saves. He's probably the 23%.
Yeah.
And the rest of it.
I'm not going to go to the movies to see it, I'll be honest.
No.
I will wait for it to pop
It'll
up
be
on
in the shops pretty quick, I reckon.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Let us know if you're going to go and check out Venom. If you have already seen it, let us know, are these reviews wrong? We also got a new trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2. I stopped watching it halfway through because I thought I don't want to spoil any more of this game for me.
It comes out real soon,
Yes.
so I don't need to see
so much to see.
I know.
I'm trying to think, where am I going to find the time to play this game with this much content?
You're
You're just going to be watching one endless cutscene.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Look,
gosh. But it does look great.
it looks fantastic. October 26th, so we don't have long to wait. Now, I don't know, if we even want to review that game, it'll come out, the review will come out in June next year. How do you... anyway, we also, and this is a bit of a bizarre one, at the start of every episode, I say this podcast is about film, gaming, entertainment, and frankly, anything we want to talk about. Jules always ribs me for it, but this week I've actually got something I want to talk about because it is so bizarre. It is so out there. Play-Doh is apparently full of shit. You're going to beat that for me, but the makers of Play-Doh have come out with this brand new set.
I just don't get it.
Which allows you to make and duplicate the poo emoji. I think Jules has actually bought some printouts here.
We're in there.
I
2018.
This is my research.
Now, I haven't played with Play-Doh for a long time, but I can't imagine that... Oh, look, you get 12 tubs.
12 cans.
Oh, apologies.
And they're all in different colours.
You'd think it'd be called...
Black. There's
But it has this, like...
green.
It comes with 4 sets of eyes, 3 noses, hat, poo mold,
Oh, no.
and then it's...
We should specify that it's poo mold MOLD. It's not MOULD because that would
This
be...
is copy-pasted from Hasbro's website. Poo mold.
Poo mold would be excellent. And, 3+ years.
Notice to parents contains wheat.
Okay. Does not contain poo, apparently.
Contains wheat.
Look, it's...
Lots of hilarious combinations. Make your own giggle-worthy poop characters.
I just love this. To clean, allow to dry, then scrape or vacuum. Which is how I suppose most people would clean up their
That's
poo
almost
as well.
correct.
Yeah,
It's
just
almost
like
correct.
real life poo.
Oh my gosh.
That's it. We'll have a video up, I suppose. But
They've done this little animated short about 2 cans walking down the street, and one of them goes to accidentally step on the poop.
Yeah.
And then they go and find its parents.
Yeah.
I watched it and I cried.
It
That's
made me
sad.
laugh, but I never want to see this again.
It's like Toy Story 3.
Oh god. Let's peg it back a bit. We also got a good glimpse at CD Projekt Red's next project. We know that they have Cyberpunk 2077 coming out. These are, of course, the famous developers behind The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, The Witcher 2, all the rest. And we knew that there was going to be a revolution to their card game Gwent coming out very soon. I think we've got a few of the cards there. And they have just revealed it's a game called Thronebreaker.
Yeah. And we had a good look. The developers sat down and did this big playthrough. It wasn't what I expected. It actually looks better than I expected.
Yeah.
You are... It's a top-down view. You're walking around through the lands of The Witcher, and when you get into a battle, it's a Gwent match.
Yep.
So
Which is the one thing I didn't do in Witcher.
That's the one thing you avoided.
Gwent.
that's what I'd be scared
Never
about.
did
But
it.
I think I'd give this a go because it looks more involved than just Gwent.
Than just the cards.
It's sort of its own little RPG. It's got an isometric view. It's only about $30 when it launches. I'm not sure if that's American pricing, but it's going to be releasing on PC this month, which is crazy. October 23, PlayStation, Xbox at a later date, which means it's just one extra game that we are having to stuff into what
This
is...
too many.
It's way too
Stop.
Yeah, the damn wall has broken. The drought that we felt all through summer is finally
I remember
done.
just a couple of months ago, we were just like, what are we even going to talk about?
Nothing coming out. Yeah.
Well, my God, do we have a lot to talk about. Meso, I mean, there are huge games coming out right now.
Yeah, so let's run through them. We've got Forza Horizon 4 has just come out. Mega Man came out today, I believe.
Yes,
Super Mario Party
comes out tomorrow, which will be out by the time this goes up.
Red Dead, 23rd of October. COD Black Ops, October 14. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which comes out As the podcast launches?
As the podcast,
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know how you rank these. It would actually be kind of fun to rank what you think is.
I'm just trying to think, what am I going to play? And I just feel like I'm so overwhelmed. I'm not going to be able to play any of them.
Well, two of these, Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Red Dead Redemption, are both 100+ hour games. Yeah. They're huge.
It's a rough month.
That's like if you pick up Assassin's Creed Odyssey now, you are not going to finish
I'm
it.
I'm still recovering from Spider-Man.
Yeah. Which wasn't the longest game.
No, it wasn't. But when you want to 100% it, so I haven't done that. I'm like 89.
Yeah, well, lift your game, mate.
I still want to pick up Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's almost the problem. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is almost forgotten now.
Yeah, and you know what? Even if you were launching a game in November, you would be a bit worried because I feel like not a lot of people are going to get through Red Dead in a week. No. It is a month, if not months, proposition for a lot of people, and I think that's going to be the big linchpin here. Super Mario Party is getting some pretty good reviews.
Yep.
It seems to be the return of Mario Party of old 1, 2, and 3, which I loved, but I have not touched a Mario Party.
And you get the old saw in your hand.
Yeah.
The joystick.
Well, I wonder if...
and then they re-released it with the glove.
Yep.
OHS people.
All that good stuff. I don't know if they've brought that back. They've got another weird one where you have to sort of spin the Joy-Con.
Yeah, you got some weird sort of actions.
Yeah. And we mentioned Forza 4 before as well. I mean, it's had excellent reviews.
Yeah.
Everything I'm seeing online is 9 or above.
Well, Forza 3, which was fantastic because it was in Australia, was a terrific game, and this one just builds off that. The world's twice as big, and it's all set in, I think it's in Scotland and Northern England, so yeah, nice part of the world as well.
Look, it just seems like every single one of these games is going to get great reviews. Assassin's Creed is also doing really well. They reckon best Assassin's Creed out.
Really built on Origins.
Yep. And even Mega Man 11 got, in the 8s, 7s, 8s, which means it's a serviceable game. And I don't know how much we could really expect out of that. I've played the demo. I've picked up the game. Haven't played the full version just yet. But it is everything you'd expect a Mega Man game to be, which is great. And the reason we wanted to bring this up and maybe focus a little bit more on Assassin's Creed, not because it's coming out tomorrow, is because it is being involved in a really big step forward involving Google.
Yeah, and I'm excited about this just because of the potential it has if it works.
Yeah.
And that's Google's new, it's called Project Stream. They're working on it now, and it's basically a streaming service where you can play games through their Google Chrome browser.
Yeah.
And this isn't a new thing. But
no, it's not a new
in this
thing,
scale.
But not on this scale.
They're full HD 60 frames a second streaming in a browser.
Yep. And the problem is the internet speed and the latency, which is what they're testing, which in Australia we're stuffed.
We'll get to that in a sec, but just so we can set it up for people that might not be aware, basically this streaming project means that you are playing a game that isn't necessarily using any power on your laptop.
None, yeah.
All it's doing, you're essentially playing a game that is being computed on a server somewhere else in the world.
Yeah, it comes off the cloud.
Yeah.
And really what it means, to dumb it right down, is that if you've got a 10-year-old laptop, you can play Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah.
Brand new AAA game, and you can play it at full high def at 60 frames a second on a horrible laptop.
And I don't think people truly realise that if they get that right, how that's going to change the way that we buy things, whether it be consoles, because why would you need to splash out $600 for the latest Xbox if you can do it with just buying a controller and tapping in via your internet? Yeah. You might end up just buying a subscription model to allow you to play these games. Or
you might just buy a monitor.
Yeah.
And have it hanging on the wall of your house.
Well, that's the other question. Is it going to be you have to buy the game outright for the streaming service, or will it be a subscription and you get like a Netflix library of games?
Yeah, that's... Yeah, I will admit this is a couple of years, a few years off. But
from this
test,
is
a big test though.
They've uploaded all this footage already, and it's running...
It's running
seemingly fine.
It's running great, but it's probably running on Google Fiber in the middle of Silicon Valley. But it does look good.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, they're showing 1080p, 60 frames per second, which is crazy.
Which is better than any console.
Yes, at the moment.
Yeah.
And seemingly to be able to do that, I mean, they're only testing it with 200 or 300 people. They're all going to be in the United States.
Yep.
We know that this has been trialed in the past. PlayStation have that PlayStation Now, which allows you to sort of stream older games. But even there, they haven't really fixed the latency issues.
Well, you can't even get it here.
And because they're small games.
Yeah. And you can imagine, I mean, if you had to, every single time you push a button, that button has to go to the other side of the world, be organized on that computer and then be transferred
and then
back
render
to
a frame
Yeah.
and then send it back.
So
And at 60 frames a second, your latency has to be, I think, 12 or 13 milliseconds of you hitting anything for it to go there, register it, render a frame, send it back to you. So,
which is incredibly quick.
yeah.
Well, I think
do that is a feast.
Nvidia have one as well.
Yes, and
Yeah,
look,
they do,
Nvidia have one. We also know that
There's,
Capcom and Ubisoft have been trialing this in
I
Japan.
want to
with the
hear
Switch.
from someone who's actually used one of these
Well,
streaming services.
for example, Capcom released Resident Evil 7 on the Nintendo Switch in Japan only, using a cloud-based system. They said it ran pretty poorly. They're trialing the same with Assassin's Creed on the Switch, which is again a step up from Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
How that works remains to be seen. We'll find out when the game launches tomorrow. But
I'm sure Google will give us a report once their testing's over. Because they're pretty adamant on their little post, that this is pretty difficult. They're not expecting to nail it.
of course not. I mean, I think that's why we're bringing it up. It's not because we expect this to happen tomorrow when the game launches, but whether it be in a year or 5 years or 10 years or 20 years, whenever they perfect this and get the latency down and the network is humming, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Regardless, I still don't think we're going to get it in Australia on the NBN. We better hope that 5G is going to be our saviour because, my God.
Even if I did get the NBN at home, which I haven't yet,
Yeah.
it's still not quick enough to do what Google are
Well,
asking.
I think they want 25
megabits
per second
download. They didn't specify an upload speed, but obviously you're going to need a fair bit of that as well.
Yes. We'll see what comes of that. Are you excited for the future of streaming and playing video games? Would you be willing to have a subscription service instead of maybe buying your games outright? We know Microsoft is already doing it with the Game Pass, which my brother has and is actually fantastic because we can play games like Forza, which I wouldn't necessarily have shelled out for. Let us know in the comments below. Our final discussion topic for the week is something kind of exciting because we love talking about old franchises. I suppose it's the reason every single person out there has a game that they think, that was part of my childhood, or you start to get nostalgic
Something
about.
you fell in love with.
Yes.
Yeah.
But a lot of those games, unfortunately, just fall by the wayside, as most things do in pop culture, either because they don't have the people to develop it or because it didn't sell, super well, whatever it may be. But two massive Ubisoft franchises, Splinter Cell and Prince of Persia. I'll ask you about them in a second, your affiliation with them. They've been gone for a long time, but in an interview with Game Informer, Ubisoft's Chief Creative Officer Serge Haskowitz, I probably butchered that, briefly commented on the status of both those games. And he said, "I love Splinter Cell, I love Prince of Persia. I can't disclose any information at this time, but I can say we are fighting for resources. It's not a question of will, it's a question of means." Which means they want to bring it back. Or it can be just great marketing speak for we hear you, but we'll get there when we get there.
What can we kill off from Ubisoft to get a new Prince of Persia game?
Well, I'll tell you what, if they didn't have to bring an Assassin's Creed out every year, I would happily go one for one because when
Not that I'm wishing anyone gets a sack.
No,
not
you
get
could
the sack.
easily Assassin's Creed
move
every
over,
year.
maybe.
I reckon there are even more than one a year. Like once you add all the mobile and
I think
tablets.
we've done this before on the
I think we
podcast.
have, actually.
There are way too many. I think it was 2 a year or something crazy.
Yeah.
Look, I'm personally a bigger Prince of Persia fan. I really enjoyed not only the older games, but when they rebooted it and actually brought back the cel-shaded look. I think it was an Xbox 360 game. I played that to death. I collected everything. I got 1,000 points on Microsoft, the same as a platinum essentially, and was so disappointed because they left that open for a sequel and it never happened.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe it just didn't sell as well.
I don't think it sold very well, and I think that was probably similar to the Splinter Cells. They had them. It became not necessarily a tired franchise, but it was just gone for quite some time.
Yeah. Well, now with the resurgence of Rainbow Six Siege,
Yeah.
They're probably thinking of bringing it back, I would say.
But do you feel like there's space for it when we've seen so many great Metal Gear Solid games, which aren't exactly the same, but are kind of similar to
I
the
think
game
they just need to go back to their roots.
Well, I think it's perfect timing because there ain't no Metal Gear anymore.
No, not with Kojima doing Death Stranding.
Death Stranding, and they brought out that they tried to do another Metal Gear and it was terrible. But without
Don't do an open world. If they're gonna do it, don't.
Oh, just keep it nice and small, linear.
Just keep it how I want to go back.
I do like the contained stealth challenges.
Yeah.
And I suppose that
Sorry.
Deus Ex.
Deus Ex.
Yeah.
I'm just looking here and thinking that was a great game.
Well, that's one thing we'll bring up because it begs the question: If these games were to come back, what other old franchises that you loved would you potentially like to see reimagined?
Well, Deus Ex is still kicking along.
It is.
But I just still love the second one.
Yeah.
That was my baby. But GoldenEye for me.
GoldenEye.
You got a sequel with Perfect Dark.
Didn't they remake GoldenEye?
Perfect Dark was nothing like GoldenEye.
I'm pretty sure they remade GoldenEye
Remastered.
on the Wii.
Did that?
I am sure they did. Well, I'll fact check that one, but I'm pretty sure they did.
I would just love a game like that again, though, where when was there's not that many multiplayer games you play anymore that have bots.
Yeah.
Remember, you couldn't in GoldenEye, but you could in Perfect Dark. You could have all these different bots running in the map as well. It was fantastic.
One thing I would just like to see come back, even if it's not GoldenEye, just in first-person shooter games, it is borderline impossible to get a 4-player split screen going on.
Yeah.
And I know it's not necessarily needed now that we all play online with each other, but
Yeah.
it is great when you're sitting at home together and you can get four controllers and play on the same map. Whereas now, even for things like Halo, you're limited to the 2.
Yeah.
And that's with a lot of games.
Well,
Some
TVs are getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I know, yeah.
Why can't we
60-inch
split screen?
TVs. It's the same, still as TV.
It would still be the full size of what your TV was when you were playing 4-player split screen.
Some of my best parties I went to when I was growing up, I think we used to bring a couple of Xboxes and we used to get 8 of us and we used to just 8-player Halo.
Yeah.
I think was over a LAN network.
4v4.
Yeah,
So
that was
good.
great. Yeah.
Jules, did you have anything you'd like to see brought back?
Well, I think this is something that a lot of people have been asking for a long time. Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
I need episode 3.
Yeah.
I've never played a Half-Life, and I still understand the tremendous want for that game.
Oh, and there's a huge fan base to it as well. Yeah.
Just episode 2, it doesn't finish, doesn't conclude. You want to know what happens next. I think there's all this pressure now, or Valve are just like, we don't need it anymore because we've got Steam and we're just
That's where they're making all their money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Look, I don't know. I think they would have to bring it out one day. Although it's been so long, it's probably going to be similar to Duke Nukem Forever.
They're going to wait till the whole fan base dies
Yeah.
before they make everyone forget about it. Anyway.
Well, look, my one personally would be F-Zero, but not in the way it was, because I really think Captain Falcon is awesome. From Smash Brothers, I love him, but he's always just been stuck in that car. So my idea for an F-Zero game, because he's a bounty hunter, that's his backstory. My idea would be that you start the game mid-race and somebody sabotages your car. Now, because it's been sabotaged, you don't have the money to obviously bring it back so you can enter the F-Zero competition. So you've got to go start doing these hits to raise money, to improve your car, to get into higher races and rise back up the ranks.
This is his pitch.
This is my pitch. Nintendo, listen to me, please. And if you just had the combat very similar to...
Keep going.
If you had the...
We'll do it cheap.
Don't interrupt me, mate. And if you had the combat similar to Spider-Man or Batman more specifically, where it is that really quick action, and you just see Falcon punt, it would be so good and so satisfying. Sort of a combination of F-Zero's fast-paced racing and
going from a kid's racing game into a violent R-rated.
You can still have that. You can still have the racing aspect. That'll be the online portion. But I'm just saying, if you want to beef it out and actually have a single-player portion, I reckon that'll be a lot of fun. Copyright Mark Santo'S 2018. Let us know what you think of my idea, what games you would like to potentially see brought back from the past and remade or rebooted in this generation in the comments below. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here for episode 15. Gentlemen, thank you again for joining me.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Of course, you can catch up with everything we do across Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Head over to mustplay.net.au for all the latest tidbits that we are posting there. And of course, if you have anything that you would like us to discuss on the podcast, just get in touch with us either at the website or on our socials. Again, thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next week.
On the flippity dip side.
I'm happy it was you and not me.